How's it going, you guys? My name is Eric, and today we are back with my 2025 Tacoma TRD Sport. The purpose of today's video is we are going to be going over the main reasons that I went ahead and bought a 4th gen Toyota Tacoma. I bought a 4th generation Tacoma is I have always loved Toyota Tacoma trucks. Ever since they were first released at the first generation in 1995, I've been a huge fan. I myself like mid-sized trucks. I don't necessarily need anything too big, and this truck fits everything perfectly for me. I got the 6-foot bed option, so it creates a little bit more practicality, and you can throw larger items in the back there. As far as the Tacoma lineup goes, you do have a lot of options. You have a lot of opportunity to be able to modify this truck, or you can just keep it stock and really enjoy it. I think that the previous generations, 3rd gen, 2nd gen, and 1st gen, were just absolutely fantastic trucks. They've built an extremely strong reputation for themselves over the years to be very reliable, be very safe, and just something that people can enjoy for a long period of time. So another thing that I wanted to bring up about the 4th generation Tacoma is the reliability. Toyota Tacomas have long been one of the most reliable trucks and have lasted well above 500,000 miles or even more if you're maintaining it properly. I do understand that this is a completely new design. They went with an 8-speed automatic transmission and they ditched the V6 and went with a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. I was willing to take the risk based off of Toyota's long reputation for having very reliable vehicles and get the 4th generation Tacoma. If something were to come up, I would just deal with it then. I see 4th generation Tacomas driving on the road all the time, and from most of the owners I've ever talked to, nobody's had any transmission issues or engine issues. It's just a lot of the things that I read online in forums and comments on YouTube videos and videos I watch, and people do not like the engine, they don't like the transmission, it's clunky, but ever since I've owned this truck, I have not found any of those issues to have come up. They wouldn't knowingly send out a bunch of transmissions that are crap and engines that are crap. So I'm kind of banking off of that. 4-cylinder turbocharged engine isn't something new for Toyota. They've had 4-cylinder turbo engines in previous vehicles over their entire lifetime. So haven't necessarily been 4th generation Tacomas I've read online that have exceeded 100,000 or 200,000 miles just because it hasn't been out long enough. But I plan on owning this truck for a long time, and I hope I can just drive this thing to an extremely high mileage, and I can just keep giving you guys updates as I incrementally get this thing more and more mileage and more use, and tell you guys whether or not it does live up to the reliability of Tacomas in the past. We're gonna go to the exterior design. They really did a good job of creating a very muscular look. A lot of the body lines are very aggressive coming up to the hood scoop. I really do like the TRD Sport because it does include that. It's just a really nice design there. Fully redesigned headlights for the 4th gen. These are fake vents. I do think this design looks very good having this here. They really draw a lot of the lines of the body of the truck out. Just a simple grille design and the Toyota logo in the center. And yeah, I just think it looks fantastic. You do have your fog lights down there in the center, and we'll drop down the camera so that you can see I do have these red front tow hooks right here, which do add to the look of this truck. And another thing I included was a TRD badge right here on the top of the windshield. Coming over to the side profile of the truck, you do have a stock wheel, in my opinion, a pretty nice design, 18-inch wheel. Their TRD has the center caps in red, which is a pretty nice touch. They are 265 tires. They're not very knobby, so on the highway or just driving around town, you're not gonna hear any aggressive road noise, which is very nice. The fender flares on the 4th gen Tacoma, I've noticed, are just inherently a little bit more aggressive and larger than previous generations, which I like. I definitely am into a wider stance truck. Everything's pretty straightforward and simple down the side of this truck. You do have these side steps which came from factory. I do like the look of those. Toyota did wrap this satin black, which I think creates more of a streamlined look there. And the bronze oxide color, I just think looks fantastic and really pops in the sun. Coming to the back, you do have this rear fender kind of bulges out a little bit and then goes straight into that fender flare. Coming to the view from the back of the Tacoma, I think it just is a really good design. Again, I already talked about this with the side profile, but the way that they extended the fenders and made the fender flares a little bit wider. Just looks really good in the 4th Gen Tacoma. Completely redesigned taillights and headlights, like I talked about in the front with the headlights, but at night these produce a really nice look. They're LED taillights. The back is pretty straightforward. There's not anything too crazy. The truck did come with an optional bed that automatically comes down. You can either press the button located here or one of the buttons on the tail light and it will go up. You do have LED lighting inside of the bed, and you have LED lighting located right here, which points down. I do have a 3-piece tonneau bed cover that was made by Toyota and installed when I bought the truck. So it's just a really, really nice design. Guys, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and the reason that I got the 4th generation Tacoma, is I love the looks of this truck. The moment that you open the door, you notice that the 4th generation Tacoma was, for the most part, completely redesigned. It is a very muscular look, and it just feels like you're in a very high quality, nice truck. That being said, there are a lot of hard touch surfaces up here, and you do have a lot of plastic. This is a Tacoma. It is a utility truck. A lot of people are going to use this for work and for throwing stuff in the back. So by no means purchasing a Tacoma should you expect luxury, but Toyota did not skimp on giving you a lot of different technology. For example, here in the center, you do have a digital tachometer and a digital speedometer located on the right. You can display different information located in the center, and you can also display different information located here in the middle. The massive infotainment screen has wireless Apple CarPlay, which is just absolutely fantastic to have. You can also use the navigation that's provided by Toyota, although I have not personally used it myself. The interior premium package does come included with this mirror that you can use normally, and or you can make it a screen, which is pretty nice. Coming down here, you do have heated seats, ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel. Toyota did leave a physical volume knob and physical adjustments for the air conditioning, which I do really appreciate. Over here, you do have some storage, which is nice, and this does come with the optional JBL sound system. And check this out, you can actually pop this out, and it is a official Toyota JBL speaker that you can use if you're ever going camping or going down to the beach. Another thing too, if you do get the optional package, you do have wireless charging right here. Here's the controls for the adaptive cruise control. You can determine how close or how far you want to be from the vehicle in front of you. You have lane assist, and you can adjust the speed. Over here, you do have the controls for the screen up here, your digital display. You can go through the different settings, left and right and up and down, and it will, for example, show you here how to navigate through that as well. So another reason that I bought a 4th generation Tacoma is the price. By no means would I consider this a cheap truck. Just at under $60,000 after taxes and everything included, I would consider this truck actually pretty expensive. If you compare this to full-size trucks like Ford Raptors that range even north of $100,000, I do consider this a relatively affordable truck in a sense of keeping it long-term, and it's going to hold its value very well. It was something that I was willing to spend on a Toyota Tacoma. Let's just face it, everything's inflating and constantly getting more and more expensive. So spending anything from $45,000 to $60,000 for a truck in this day and age is just kind of the new norm. So to get a TRD Sport with the 6-foot bed, with the premium interior, with all the bells and whistles that I wanted, it did cost almost $60,000 with taxes and everything included. There are a lot of other mid-sized trucks that you can look at getting for probably cheaper, and people will say it has better performance and it looks better, but this is all bias. I like the Toyota Tacoma. I like the way it looks. I think the performance is fine. As far as price is concerned, I think that this is a very good value. Another thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to the price of this truck is I was originally looking at used 3rd gen Tacomas, just a few years old, maybe 2021s, 2s and 3s. Those trucks with even roughly 40 to 60,000 miles were only a few $1,000s cheaper than some of these trucks. I'll show you guys a few screenshots of trucks that I found online, both 3rd gen and 4th gen, and you don't see a massive difference in regards there. All right, so another reason that I bought the 4th gen Tacoma is I love the way that it drives. While I was looking at used 3rd gen Tacomas, I was reading a lot of reviews of people who had driven 4th gen Tacomas, who had originally not liked the fact that they were 4-cylinder turbos, and they said that they loved it. I am not originally a 4-cylinder person. I don't really like 4-cylinder engines. I don't like the sound of them. I like larger displacement motors, V8s, V6s, things like that. So I myself was a little bit skeptical, but I went and test drove one, and look at me now. I'm driving and owning a 4th gen Tacoma with a 4-cylinder turbo, so it must have been nice to drive, and that was the case. I find that it's a very smooth vehicle. It shifts very nice. Some people say that it chases gears, and in the morning when you first start it, it's a little bit rough when it shifts, and I'm not gonna lie, that is sometimes the case, but on average, it's a very smooth driving truck. I don't find that the transmission feels in any way bad. I do like the direct steering. It just feels, you put the truck where you want it. You move the steering wheel and it goes there. I think a little bit of the handling characteristics that I like are associated with the fact they ditched the leaf springs in the back of this truck. I think if you get an SR or lower, an SR5 or lower, you're still getting leaf springs. But this truck is a TRD Sport, and the somewhat higher level model Tacomas do have the leaf springs ditched in the back. So I think that creates a little bit more of a smooth ride. I've used this truck for a lot of commuting, and I've spent a lot of time in it, and it's just really nice and smooth. The power, 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. It's by no means really powerful. It's a truck. I drive it for utility purposes. I drive it to go surfing. I drive it to go to work. I just need this truck to be something that I like the way it looks, I like the way it drives, and it's reliable. So I do really like the sound of the turbo spool. When you give it some gas, you can really hear that. I'll overlay some roller videos onto here, and I put the microphone that's right here on my shirt, I put that in the engine bay, and you can actually really hear the turbo pretty well, which is nice. A few different driving modes. You have Sport, Eco, and Normal. Usually I just drive it in Eco if I'm on the freeway, Normal around town, and then Sport if you want to, I guess, be driving it sporty. So I'm in Sport. I'll just give it a little gas. Yeah, and it's not anything crazy exciting, but it's just enough power. So, I mean, I don't, again, get in this truck and need anything too crazy. So I've driven plenty of V6 Tacomas, and I don't find that engine to be feeling way more powerful and way smoother and everything. So in my opinion, after driving multiple different 3rd gen Tacomas and 2nd gen Tacomas, and then also driving this is just a different feeling truck. The 4-cylinder turbo, wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of at first, but I eventually came to really love the way that it feels in this truck. I think Toyota did a good job. So if anybody's skeptical about the way this truck drives, the engine, the 4-cylinder turbo, just go ahead and test drive it for yourself.